Before we start, we need to tell you up front we are not a licensed financial planning, accounting or law firm. This is simply an education program which will give you factual information. We do not give any general or specific advice around finance, business, investing, options trading or anything else. That is not what this presentation does. Please see a licensed financial planner when it comes to any investment advice you need.
It's Malloy here. Aaron, I forgot a first name. Sometimes I forget. I've got Derek Whittaker to my left. And look what the cat dragged in.
The travesty.
The travesty himself. Travis Carter, or as I like to say, Mr. Carter. Good to see you, boys.
How you going, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm really good. We have a problem around here. Okay?
Just one? Just one? Is that it?
There's a catalogue, let's be honest.
That shirt is way too loud. That's the problem.
This is one of my quiet ones. What are you talking about? Come on.
It seriously looks like a tea towel you got in Hawaii to say, hey, I went to Hawaii.
And he came out of the loo before and wiped his hands on me. And you know what the only place, do you know what? I like to see the glasses half full. To me, I saw, hey, he washed his hands.
No, that wasn't water.
So we're here with the Greater Wealth.
That's getting cut out.
Shame we don't edit, right? Okay. The great thing about this show and this station, edgeradioaustralia.com, is obviously free speech. That's what we're doing here. We're doing some education, mate, about how to create, obviously, a greater wealth, but to find your life purpose. This is the thing. And unfortunately or fortunately, depending which way you look at it in life.
Across the bottom of the screen, that's the link to go get your tickets.
Oh, there you go. Well, I didn't even know that. I can't see the screen, right? Yeah, I'm out here by my lonesome.
Because you're old school. You're like CD cassettes, levers and buttons.
Are you talking about when people talk about tablets, I think they're talking about Moses. That's how old I am, but never mind. All right.
10 points, Aaron.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that.
He's on a roll today. He's on a roll.
Well, we're here to find
the roll.
He's the boy who brings in a box of Krispy Kremes, but all right.
Hey, you were late, so I had to get something to bait you in to come to the studio to do work.
I was not late. I love him with his, but no, I love his idea of saying I was late. I say a time I'm coming in. He doesn't answer my message.
That's because I'd already packed up the computer and was driving in here.
Well, there you go. I'm glad you're here, mate. Of all the jokes about, how horrible it is to see you, sometimes it's pleasant. Today's not one of those days. Look, anyway, let's get into the show. Let's get this going. You guys have been talking about the subjects we're going to talk about. I've been in the other room. I have no idea what's going on today, so it's probably a good thing. I'm going to throw to Derek. Derek, mate, what are we going to talk about today? Some of the stuff.
We'll kick it off with this. There's some really interesting stuff coming out, some reports that you're not going to hear in the mainstream media talking about a government-backed crypto.
Okay, I want to hear about this. I need to know.
It's not just going to affect the United States. There are plans for this. Biden passes an executive order on this, but they're also looking at rolling it out in Australia.
Okay.
China's been experimenting with one, but apparently, according to one report that I've heard, they tested it in Australia before rolling it out in China.
Oh, much like COVID.
Really interesting.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Go on.
Can't miss a good pandemic.
You can't.
So
this is why I love the station, because we can get away with doing whatever we want.
If we were on any other network, it's over. The conversation.
We would have had the bosses in here kicking us out. What the fuck you doing?
And we've experienced that before, haven't we?
Yeah,
Travis.
Yes.
Mr.
Proudly.
Channel 7 expose, no less, but there you go.
And proudly fired from 89.7.
That's right. All right, so now, so there is a difference between the cryptos, and as I say, I really rely on you guys and what we're doing on Thursday to teach me about this sort of stuff.
Okay, so let's talk about normal crypto at the moment. It's what they call decentralized, a lot of it. So it's not controlled by anyone, and it's not like for example, take Bitcoin, the original crypto, right? You can't go and print more cryptos. It's only a certain supply.
Yep.
And that's why they're saying it's going up in value, because of demand,
Yeah,
supply and
supply and
demand.
demand. Yeah,
Okay,
that's how the system
whereas what
works.
we've got on the fiat system is, I mean, we've seen the United States print more money than they ever have in history in the last 2 years, and the money supply is really up. When it's not pegged to the gold standard, which they lost back in 1972, 71, 72. I
believe
50 years ago, which makes it the year of Jubilee, which is why it's all very significant on that level, is that they then said, well, we can print as much as we want because it's not backed by anything. And when it was being quoted by the money suppliers that he who controls the currency controls the politics of that nation.
Now,
controls that nation.
From a layman's point of view, I mean, okay, when I go to Bali, I feel like I'm a baller. I'm like, slapping the cash out because $10 is like 100 bills in my hand.
You should go to Vietnam then. It's like $1 Aussie is 17,000 dong.
Oh man, I tell you what,
you love the dong.
I would love the dong. That's the only place in the world I'm going to love the dong. But anyway, we've got that going on. But the thing is, okay, the paper means nothing is what I'm getting at, and that obviously is what's happening here. I mean, when the US just keeps printing, that's what happens, right? Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is, and it's also about supply and demand in terms of those currencies. What's available, what isn't available. I think what we've got is in terms of when they say, getting back to the cryptos of the normal crypto, they call that decentralized. Sure.
When it's centralized, it's controlled by a reserve bank and of course a country as well. So when Australia wants more money in the supply, they do an IOU called a bond. Right. The reserve bank prints out however many millions they want. Or trillions, and away they go. Where it is with crypto, people have valued that more, particularly in nations where their currencies, foreign currencies, is falling because they want to preserve their wealth. So they've gotten into Bitcoin and things like that to go, this is falling less, even on a falling market, less than what my current currency, fiat currency, is doing. So that's where the whole crypto, some of the attraction, that's why a lot of the third world nations have gotten into crypto because they go, I can increase my wealth with a little bit of outlay going into it. Now what we're talking about, so the toothpaste is out in terms of the technology. Get it out in a minute. Put the teeth back in. The toothpaste is out of the tube. In terms of technology, in terms of blockchain and the power. The real power behind all this is actually the technology, the blockchain. A lot of banks are concerned because they don't want to become dinosaurs, right, in terms of exchange. And what the governments are thinking is, oh, goody, if we do this, then we can track what people are spending money on, right? Of course. What the concern is not only the lack of privacy, but more importantly, these coins can be programmed as to what you can and can't buy if they want to take it to that extent.
Welcome to China, ladies and gentlemen.
So, for example, if they want to push that climate line, you've bought enough diesel in the last month, you've exceeded your carbon footprint, we're going to stop you from filling up the tank.
Travis, you've had enough Krispy Kremes.
Hey, you're the one that's eaten most of them.
I've had one.
Look.
But you guys are exactly right.
Yes.
They can control diet.
You've had more Krispy Kremes than me.
Over my lifetime, perhaps. Anyway. Okay, no, I get that. I mean, look, ultimately it's supply and demand, right? That's how the economy works. Okay, well, how it's works successfully anyway. So essentially, if they can control
the supply,
but with cash, right? I have the autonomy to spend whatever I want with that cash. So if I'm an employee, I receive, let's say it's $1,000 a week or whatever it might be. I have the autonomy to spend that $1,000 as I see right. The concern is if they go to a government-backed crypto, that autonomy is gone. Potentially.
Absolutely. But I mean, look, and that's the autonomy of using cash is disappearing, as we all know. They're trying to stop us from using cash. It's incredibly hard to find a bank to put cash into, and they're trying to take that out of the economy. So to me, it seems like a massive overreach of control.
So if you think this is extreme, think about it. What have they done in the last 2 years? Okay, they stop people's freedom of movement.
Absolutely.
Freedom of association.
I was just going to say that, freedom of association, even in terms of autonomy of what you put in your body in terms of medicines and that sort of stuff as well.
Especially in WA, they've taken it even further with the so-called bikie laws, where you're not even allowed to wear your colours of any groups that you're associated with. There's a couple of guys, and these are hardcore criminals, so I have no sympathy for these guys. One of them had their motorbike gang tattooed on his nose. Now, every time he goes out into public, he's got to cover his face because he's got his gang tattoo on him.
Is that right?
Yeah. So every time he takes his mask off, he gets fined.
Look, I'm not a member of a gang, okay, or anything like that. But at the same time, I think that we've got to work hard to reserve people's preserve rather their rights to have their individual, rights, so they can congregate as a group. It's crazy.
Personal experience here. I used to work for a company called ADT Security, monitoring alarm systems. We finished work because it's obviously 24 hours. It was like 11:30 at night. We want to go for a beer. Nowhere was open in WA, so we went to the casino. We were all in our work uniforms. We were denied access into the casino because we were in gang colours.
You've got to be kidding
deadly
me.
serious. Absolutely 100% serious.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna have a search in the break for a couple of songs that'll fit perfectly for this, but we'll see how we go. All right. So
now,
essentially,
so going back to the cryptocurrencies,
please do.
A lot of people going, but if they can track the government issued one, why can't they track the cryptos, the decentralized ones? So this is where it's really fascinating with the cryptocurrencies and the guy who no one actually knows who he is, the guy that created the blockchain. So every single computer will have a code or reference that's all jumbled up. So no one actually knows, unless you give them the details and give them permission that they're allowed to have their stuff, no one knows where that money is coming from. So the blockchain, like the cryptocurrencies and Ethereums of the world, the Dogecoin, stuff like that, transferring from one wallet to another is actually very, very secure. The other thing is, because it's not going through a single central system, when you do a transfer, you don't send it to one person, it sends out through the network, and all the computers cross-check with each other. And that's what crypto mining is. Every time you find a fault or an error in the system, they pay you for, thanks for finding the fault, here's a bit of a reward.
Right.
So what happens is it's extremely hard to hack the crypto system. Generally, they hack the computers that store your wallet. So let's say I've got a MetaMask account. So if they hack MetaMask, then that's where they get your money. They can't catch it in between transactions like they can with bank cards. So that's why the government's sort of like trying to push people away from that, because once it goes into the crypto sphere, the chance of the government to track it, catch it,
Are you telling me it's not as safe as MyGov? I mean, come on.
The app is okay. It's the people that handle the data that's shit house. And that's the government.
All right. So ultimately, we want control of our own destiny. This is what the show is about. I mean, creating, your whether we look at wealth from a financial point of view or purely simply freedom, the fact of the matter is having this overreach of control is taking that away, right? Right. So, all right. I think it's an important distinction for people to understand between, government crypto and traditional crypto, for want of a better term. So, is that something we can talk about on Thursday? How does that work?
On Thursday?
Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
Well,
there's so much going on this week.
It's a busy one.
We've got the funeral today of the Royals, and we've got a national day of morning on Thursday, and I was thinking, and then some people are taking the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. In WA, we had the Queen's birthday, which is really ironic.
We're celebrating the death, like we're celebrating the birth of a dead woman.
It makes sense.
Sorry. So Thursday night, we're doing how to live your life purpose and do it using the techniques of wealthy use. We're doing that on our webinar.
Absolutely.
And, you need to get that link. You've got it on the website.
Yeah, it's just down here. For the people that are watching through the radio, obviously you can see all of this.
You can't watch through a radio, mate. You can't watch through a radio.
It's called sarcasm.
Right.
Yeah, so edgeradioaustralia.com/events. All the details are there.
Eventbrite have got it? Yep.
Yeah, it has all the links, details, costs, times, everything's there.
Look, honestly, get on board. As I say, for someone like me who doesn't understand the depth of this, this is going to be designed for people like me, and I love that. So,
and it's cheap, $47.
Oh, jeez! Tell you what would you do with $47?
It's a public holiday, so you're not working anyway.
You're bored, right? Okay. Yeah. So what else would you possibly be doing?
I really want. I think this would be hilarious if we get, because we're Australians, like. Public holiday, what's the first thing you do? Drive to the bottle shop. So having a
drinking game. Are we going to do
let's do this as a drinking game. Every time someone brings up some sort of like really wacky conspiracy theory, like blue bloods or whatever, like skull, off we go.
I think we should make it every time anyone mentions, I don't know,
the Queen.
The Queen, yeah, the Queen. That'll do, right? Every time, because we're Australians, okay, and we want to drink all day. Let's be honest. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. All right, now we're going to take
this event getting messy.
Yeah, it's always going to get messy, especially because we're doing it at night. Okay, and the fridge is right there. Okay, let's be honest. Tell me what I should love in this little segment, mate. Now, Derek, where are we going? You've closed the laptop. This is serious stuff. Means it's all coming out of your head.
Yeah, well, I'm doing the latest news while you guys are talking.
I appreciate that.
Coming in and all that sort of stuff. I was researching an interesting story came across. But whereas the love, opportunity.
Yeah,
In
okay, I'm with
any
that.
of these situations, there's always opportunity. Look, there's a lot of doom and gloom about what's happening in the world at the moment, World Economic Forums and all this sort of stuff. And my view is that the world is actually going to get better. I think that it's going to be wiped out.
I love that positive sort of vibe. Yeah,
I think
for
it's all coming to a head. We're in the age of people are finding out what's been going on for decades, for centuries in some regards. And it's really, really exciting. It's like what you have grown up in, you thought was normal, and are suddenly realizing, hey, it's actually not normal.
Yeah, very true.
And this is an exciting thing because that's really empowering. And we are born with a destiny in our lives to live a life purpose that is for a greater cause bigger than ourselves.
That's true.
And when you understand that, and then you really get that in your heart and your soul, and you begin to understand also the knowledge of the techniques that the wealthy use to build wealth and all that sort of stuff,
Sure.
you have an opportunity to live that life purpose on a greater level than ever before.
For sure. I mean, look, to me, you know what? Money, it buys nice toys and that kind of thing, but the great thing that money buys is options. Okay, simple as that. And when you're financially secure, you've got the options to live your life and do what you'd like to do.
Not only that, but money is simply a tool to do good by. And I think that's really, really important for people to understand. A lot of people think that money's bad. No, it's just happy tickets.
Happy tickets,
Right?
Oh, it is.
You know,
Jeez, Willy Wonka over here with his happy tickets.
you like that?
Wow.
But it gives, you're right, it gives you options.
Yeah.
But you can do good. Anything in life, you can do good or evil by it.
I'll give my little, two bobs worth here. Is okay. When many years ago, I was in a situation where I was working at a great job, everything was great, success, da, da, da. I was in a good financial situation, and I had an opportunity where my little girl needed to be looked after full time, and the financial freedom gave me the ability to go, not I'm going to keep working 60 hours a week, I'm going to miss life or whatever. My financial freedom gave me the ability to walk away from that job and focus on my daughter. That, to me, that is wealth, right? For me, that was it, because she needed me. That was far more important, and if I hadn't had that financial freedom at that time, if I hadn't worked myself to the bone a little bit to get to there, I wouldn't have had those options and that freedom. So I think that people do focus on money and see it as a negative thing. Yeah, look, I love actually the happy tickets. I think that's
I can't claim it. One of my mentors called it that. Wes Hone. He used to call money is just happy tickets, and I thought that's a great way to put it.
Nice. So okay. Can you get me some happy tickets? Show me how. How do we do it? I'm pointing your laptop.
Well, Thursday night we're going to be looking at that.
Funny
right?
you should say that.
How to live your life purpose and understanding the techniques the wealthy do. And so we're going to look at what the wealthy do, what the poor don't, and check that out. That's coming up on Thursday night. What time are we doing that, Travis? Do you know offhand? I think it is.
Travis!
It's there somewhere. I think
Travis, you are the epitome of you only had one job.
I'm glad I got my laptop
honestly.
in front of me.
My job was to put it up, not to put it together. So, hey, I've just got back from Karratha. So, not Karratha, Carnarvon.
You don't even know where you've
I
been.
didn't even make it, actually. The car broke down halfway.
Okay,
It is rough.
we are doing that at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, see, I told you I knew.
WA time.
Yep, WA time.
And don't worry, it's not daylight savings yet
Not yet, so a couple of hours.
for the people over east.
Now, Travis, you wanted to talk about politics and what's been happening here
did.
in our own state.
So a lot of, and this is a bit of a segue into what Derek was talking about, the government operated digital currency. So many people in Australia just do not have the trust in the government, and one of the easiest ways to look at that is actual the voter turnout with elections.
Wow.
We've just had the Northwest Central election in WA, the by-election, because the National guy stood down. The Nationals retained the seat, but I'm kind of curious to see if the Nationals will keep it or if we'll go to another election, because less than 50% of people turned out for this election.
Right,
So
compulsory?
In Australia, we have compulsory
Yeah,
voting.
but for that one I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yeah, compulsory voting because it's a state election.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
And I can't believe this, less than 50% of people actually turned up to vote. So all the people who didn't vote are probably don't end up with a fine. But to me, this is just a massive FU to the government. No, I'm not going to vote. You can go stick it up your ass.
See, that upsets me, and I know, and I've got a lot of people who say, I don't.
Well,
I don't
that
vote
is their
because-
choice.
Yeah, I know, but
So a no vote is a vote.
I suppose.
So it's them.
Okay.
It's like I support them. If they don't believe that any of the candidates suit what they want, then don't vote.
Well, damn it, Travis, you're right. I don't like it when you're right.
Yeah, it surprises you, doesn't it?
It does. It's such a rare event.
So the thing is, like, I don't know if they made the quorum. I don't know if there's enough to actually have the results actually ratified. I don't know if the Nationals lady who looks like she's going to win it, they still haven't finished the count yet. So
Okay.
this is a big, massive unknown at this stage, because I I did a quick Google search and I couldn't find any elections in Australia besides the local council elections where voting is not compulsory.
Yep.
I couldn't find another election where they had such a low voter turnout.
Right. Okay. Oh, look. I mean, we could debate whether or not you need to vote or not. I mean, to me, even if we don't like the process, and I don't like the process, and I don't like the, but I think I still want to be responsible for having my piece of that puzzle. I want to feel that I've contributed, right? And I think that when people don't vote, I don't want to say you've got no excuse to complain, because that's not fair to say.
No, it's true. They don't have an excuse to complain. Because if they had voted, they would put their opinion forward. By not voting, you're saying, I don't care.
Yeah, okay.
So don't complain about the government that gets in, right? Is that what you're saying?
Okay.
So, and my brother's one of these. He doesn't vote, and it's like it drives me insane. It's like he'll come down because obviously I'm involved in politics. He like just sits there and bitches and moans about politics non-stop. It's like fucking vote.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not doing it. And it's like, it sucks to be you. Like, too bad, so sad.
There you go.
And that's the other one. Like people complain about, this political party should be doing this. Like, well, have you joined that political party?
Yeah. Well, look. In theory, right, and I'll put the old inverted commas up on that one, okay, the politicians are supposed to represent us, okay? They're supposed to be our representative. The problem is they're not, okay? Generally speaking, most are representing themselves or other parties, and that's the problem. It needs big clean-up aisle 4, right? And it saddens me that when you get genuine candidates who do understand that philosophy, that they don't get the support. They certainly don't get the money machine behind them, because obviously the money and the power. But what it pisses me off is when you have a lot of people who don't vote, who are complaining about that, when they have a viable alternative in front of them. That someone who will genuinely, A, not be for sale, and B, represent them as the task should be.
If we want a great future for not just ourselves but our children and the generations to come,
absolutely,
we have to take more responsibility for what is going on in our nation. We can't just sit here on a couch whinging about it. We have to get involved. We have to be the gatekeepers of what comes into our country, what goes out of our country. We have to put the pressure on the things and the parties that we don't like in terms of what they're passing and this sort of stuff.
Sure.
They've got to feel it. The day and age of us, she'll be right, mate, is over. Because we are paying the consequences of the she'll be right age.
The greatest thing about this country is that she'll be right attitude, right? Okay? Yeah. That's the greatest thing. It is also our greatest failing.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
But you look at it this way. How long have we had that? It's a great attribute in many regards. However, the previous generations didn't do it. They marched off in World War One at the call of the British Empire, right? Yep. Yeah, we'll fight for you, even though we're how many thousands of miles away. Yep. World War Two, okay, yep, we'll be there for the United States. And even recently in times, in terms of Afghanistan and Vietnam War, we'll be right. You can't just do the she'll be right in this day and age.
No,
even if you don't like it in terms of the arena of politics, economics, or whatever, if you care about your kids, do it. Get involved, because otherwise their freedoms and their future is deteriorating rapidly.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. The biggest thing I can't stress enough at the moment, especially on the political side of things, is people need to get involved. They need to join the local party. Because one of the things that I think finding really disgusting, especially in WA, is the level of which the government is going out of their way to try and limit the amount of people that actually get to have a voice in an election.
This is a real problem.
The UAP is already deregistered.
Yep.
Looks like the Liberal Democrats are going to be deregistered.
Oh, wow.
No mandatory vaccination party is another one that's going to struggle to get registration.
Sure.
My understanding is One Nation should be okay, but we're not sure. We're still working on that one. So there's all these different parties that, because before you used to just submit your members lists to the Western Australian Electoral Commission, and then they dealt with everything else. Now that not only do you have to have a minimum of 500 paid members, you've also now got to get every single member to sign a declaration stating that they're a member of a political party.
Yeah, and that comes back to, when the Labor Party runs around with Aldi bags full of cash. I mean, that's the problem, because
Branch
it was
stacking.
rorted. Yeah.
Because it was the party paying for people's memberships, not the actual people themselves. So how many real members did the Labor, Liberals, the Greens, the Nationals actually have?
Okay, then answer this for me, because I don't get this, right?
Yeah.
So why not just make, entry to the political party dirt cheap?
Most of the entry to most political parties are already dirt cheap. Like, you have a look at, I know the One Nation ones, obviously I'm part of One Nation. It's $20 a year for a concession card, or $40 a year for a full-blown membership. So money is not the issue here. It's so many people just don't trust the government. They're like, why should we give our details to the government when they're just going to abuse it and sell it on to someone else? So just talking about the government-based cryptocurrencies, no one wants to use that because they don't have faith in the government. No. The election results in the Northwest Central, the people don't rock up to vote because they don't have any faith in the government. And the problem is this faith in the government, this faith in the financial system, in the banking sector, and all these different things are massive indicators, especially when it comes to spending on the political market. If people lose faith in their government, they stop spending. And then the things like the consumer index starts getting hit, especially now with all the talk about the recession coming up. The level of fear of the government or the lack of respect towards the government is a massive indicator that the currencies, the markets, everything's going to be dropping.
But the government and the banks are not showing us any reason to respect them. That's the problem, right? Honestly, so many dirty deals, so much carrying on, so much just pure and simple narcissism, right? They're not giving us a product that we can be proud of or we should join. You know?
That's about to change. That I sincerely believe is changing as we speak.
Right.
Because I think what we're seeing around the world is people taking their power up. There's many nations who are doing what we call, what a lady called Julie Green calls a righteous rebellion, is rising up and people saying, this is wrong what you're doing. We're going to protest. We're going to take back our powers. We're going to, if you're farmers, we're going to drive our tractors down the freeway. We're going to dump manure in the middle of your freeways. We're going, they supply how much of the percentage of the world's food bowl in the Netherlands.
Sure.
You're seeing this across massive countries, in terms of Sri Lanka taking over that.
How cool was that?
Storm on that.
Yeah.
I'm not advocating violence and all this, but I am saying when you're seeing that trend happen time and time again across the world, you're not the only one feeling that in Australia. I think we culturally are a little bit more passive. We put up with a lot more, but I don't think that's going to last. I think there's going to be an accountability of the leadership that has gone for decisions that have been made and are being made that we've never seen before.
Okay, you just used the word accountability, and that's a big one in my mind, right? We've just had a freedom rally here in WA, and worldwide one, or everywhere, and we often discuss, what are the benefits of these rallies and that sort of thing. I mean, I would like to right now, because mandates have changed and all of that, I would like to see an increase in a movement to push for accountability. Because I mean, look, in Western Australia, we still haven't seen this magical. Look, McGowan and his bag of beans here, okay? Where is this health advice? It doesn't bloody exist. We all know it doesn't exist, right? So why are we, as West Australians, not holding him accountable? Now, it's
because he's got total control of the upper house and the lower house. So he's got total control. We are in a dictatorship in WA. You can get away with whatever you want. And just going back to changing of the regulations in the WA elections, McGowan passed that at 1:40 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Without proper consultation. He even got on the news and said, no, we've got no intention to change the boundaries. And then at 1:40 a.m. in the morning, he changed the boundaries.
Something that people don't know here in Perth, okay, we're the most isolated city, obviously capital city in the world, right? But also our media goes to sleep. Like, we have a very different situation to any other state or any other place in the world where literally at 5 p.m. on a Friday, the media just go to bed.
3 o'clock. They shut down.
Yeah. I'm saying Friday afternoon. You've got to think about the drinks. But that doesn't happen in other states. It literally does. And when you've got what we've got right now is a cheer squad for the McGowan government, which is the media here in WA. I mean, 7 West particularly is absolutely atrocious, as we know. Stokes and McGowan are close friends. It's as simple as that.
Well, we saw that in the lawsuit against him. So
it's childish. Absolutely childish.
I find really, really probably heartening is probably the right word for it. So even though we know a recession is coming, all the indicators that I've seen, that I've read, all the financial commentators I listen to, so they're all saying it's definitely coming. It's going to be one of the worst we've seen. But there's quite a few out there also talking about most people just need to calm down. Like they're jumping up, they're screaming, "Oh no, recession, recession, recession!" But there's a lot of opportunities here, and Derek explained it really good. It's like a deer in the headlights. If you see all these like bad words coming at you, the fear that's being pushed, especially in the media, saying how bad things are, a lot of people get scared. A lot of people panic. So I think most people just need to calm down.
But it is designed, okay? What we're hearing in the media is designed to create panic, to create fear, to make that recession happen. So that, quite frankly, they can make opportunity out of it. Now, what I think is that let's not let the elites have the opportunity here. Let's take it, at grassroots level. Let's take the opportunity. Let's use this as a way of building our financial freedoms and strength, and political strength as well.
and this is one of the reasons why I actually, even though I think the time for protests are actually gone, I think the protests is still a really good idea, especially in Perth, because so many people out there, they're going to remember, like, the government hires a lot of people in WA. So there's a lot of people who lost their jobs because of the government. They feel it's like David versus Goliath. They're a single solitary person versus this massive organisation, and they're like, what do I do? And so there's the isolation that people are actually feeling, and the concern and the fear because they're on their own. I think these rallies, even though I think they need to morph a little bit more to like a fete or a fair sort of thing.
Sure.
I think I'd love to see them every month, sorts of thing. So all the freedom-friendly businesses get together, all the people from this community get together and start having their own sort of like economic community where they only trade amongst themselves, to support the local communities, and have it sort of like a community building things. Because if you have faith within each other and within society, like your own sort of society, you build that resilience. So when the media starts saying around going, oh, you know, we're going to a recession, everything's going to be shit, and you're all going to die in the streets and all that sort of stuff, you're just like, I don't care, go away.
But here at Edge, we have every single week we promote one small business, okay, and one small family-owned business somewhere here in WA, not some big corporation, some, you know, again, grassroots, because it's so vital, because it comes down to community, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like, what we're trying to build here is a community, and I think that I think more need to do it. And exactly what you said, maybe a fate, maybe some sort of change of attitude there might be the way to go. But there's a lot of food for thought. And the great thing is, okay, we're throwing ideas back and forth. This is the first time it's coming into my head, probably yours. I don't know with your head. No one understands your head.
Oh,
but
I don't understand my head sometimes, to be honest with you.
It's a beautiful mind. But
hey, I don't hit people with a phone, okay?
Yeah, it's true.
Hey!
Got one right here.
For those who don't know, Russell Crowe beat up one of the hotel attendants with a phone.
It's a long segue on that one. But look, my point is we could have this conversation and everybody throws these ideas out. Now, I might have some good ideas. I'll probably have a lot of bloody bad ones. But if everybody throws their ideas forward and we actually have a conversation, we don't have censorship.
Would that be free speech?
I know. Did I just swear again?
I've actually got a question for Derek.
Okay.
I watch a lot of YouTube and Twitter and Twitch, and this is dangerous. So this is going to be a bit of a curly one for Derek because he's licensed. There's some things he can answer, some things he's not allowed to answer.
I'm not licensed, no.
No, educational though, aren't you?
No, you don't need a license for education.
Okay, sweet. Anyway, so
I can't give you general or specific financial advice.
Exactly. So there are certain things that, because we are broadcasting live, he can't answer. So disclaimer, he may turn around and say, no, I'm not answering it, which will be a very, very interesting segment.
Okay, here we
so
go.
my question is...
Do I call my lawyer now?
He's on standby, trust me.
89.7 should have had their lawyer. No. So the question is, like, all these videos I've been watching, like, there's a lot of them. Like, Robert Kiyosaki has his own show, the Rich Dad show, and they hit it a lot. Everyone I've listened to, even the ones that say, oh, it's not as bad as what it is, all say that the indicators indicate that we're going into a recession. Could be at the end of this year or early next year. So the first part of the question is, do you have an inkling or a theory about when the world will be going into a recession again? And the second part of it, how severe? Do you think it's going to be worse than 2008? How long will it last for? And how much damage do you think it will do?
Okay, there's a couple of parts to that question. I'll go broader. I'll even rewind it even further. Okay. Do I think we're in for a stock market crash? I think so, and I think we're in for a big one. All right. That's my personal opinion.
Huge.
I think it'll be bigger than just a crash. I think some people are calling it a collapse. All right.
Okay.
What I think is it's going to backfire on many of the elites. Right?
Sounds good.
This is what I believe is occurring. Because I came across an interesting stat today. 10% of the population of the United States controls 89% of the stock market.
That is insane.
Right? So that's huge. So I think we're coming in for a big one. I think the attempt and strategy is to then go, oh, well, we need to reset the whole US dollar as a result. And I don't think it's going to work. I believe God's going to come across, from what I've been listening to a lot of the prophets and stuff like that. I actually think he owns the chessboard, is one of the analogies they've used, and he's just going to wipe all the pieces off and go, you can't checkmate me.
Right. Okay.
Because his intent.
I'm taking my bat and ball and going home.
His intent is for
He's
people.
like, flip the table.
His intent is for people to be in freedom.
Okay.
And I think the another expression that has happened. I don't know if you know the story of Haman. It's a great little story.
I don't. No.
Right. Built gallows to hang somebody he hated.
Right.
King finds out, backfires on him. He ends up being hung on them. And I think it's a time of Haman where people who've built the gallows, it's going to bite them. The trap is going to set for themselves. I think that's what's going on. So I think what I'm concerned about is when people talk about recession, because sometimes that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Totally agree.
I kind of look and go, again, my mindset is there's always opportunities in these situations. So do I worry about a recession? Absolutely not. Okay, there's opportunities in every sphere to do so and to prosper. And so when you walk in with that mindset, I mean, I've seen so many spiritual principles of people prospering in times of famine, that even if there is a famine, I don't worry about what's going on me in terms of economic climate. I know, my faith is, my God's good to me. My daddy God is good to me. He's going to look after me. So and I see a shift from the wealth of the unrighteous going to the righteous right now. I see great things coming out of this. I'm really, really excited. This is one of the most exciting times to be alive in history. We are seeing phenomenal things go on the earth. So this doom and gloom thing, I'm not on that bandwagon. I'm actually really, really excited about what is to unfold. So am I worried about an economic recession? Well, that may happen, but I don't believe that it will affect those who put in correct principles in terms of their finances. They're actually going to prosper and become out wealthier than they were before.
So I think from what I'm taking there, you're saying that people need to make sure that they've got the financial knowledge leading into this recession.
It helps, yes.
They need to have themselves set up properly prior to everything that's going on. So when I say set up properly, I'm talking about if you run a business, making sure your business structure is correct. Yourself, making sure that you're putting a little bit of money away each week, doing your investments, doing whatever you need to do, getting your debt under control. Because let's be honest, the whole reason we're in such a shit show at the moment is because practically every single country around the world has astronomical levels of debt.
That's right.
Yeah,
So-
should we be surprised? Because it's an economic system that's based on debt. That's the whole thing of fiat system. The whole idea is set on that, and that's not how it's meant to be.
See, I've lived my life under the fiat system, and I thought fiat system was fix it again, Tony. Sorry. I like that.
Isn't
I got a problem.
Citrons?
No. Anything from look, Fiat's break down every 2 meters, right? They're almost as bad as Citrons, right? So
And
yes,
Peugeots.
Peugeots, exactly.
I just find it funny every time we talk about something, you always bring it back to a car.
Dude, have you met me? Come on.
Well, just look what's behind you. For those listening on the show.
Listening on the show, yes. I'm a bit obsessed with cars, okay?
He's got a Subaru. Is it WRX?
No,
or
mate,
Legacy?
that is a Legacy. That
Yeah,
one,
Legacy.
Absolutely behind me.
STI Legacy. Gorgeous cars.
Anyway.
So does that answer your question, Travis?
Some.
Some.
Okay, let's throw another one out there. This is something that I've been hearing a little bit lately. And everyone keeps going, the 24th.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm hearing that too.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that too.
The person who told me first is right next to me.
I tell you what I hear, Travis. I tell you what I hear. There are many people who are saying that things are happening that on the 24th. A lot of them tie that into the Jewish calendar, events that were tied into biblical times, ancient prophecies and stuff like this on that timing. A guy called Bo Polney is really interested on that sort of stuff. He really gets into numbers and timing and stuff like that. I've been watching a bit of his stuff. He comes across as a bit eccentric, but it works and I like it. It's great. I mean, you have to look into those numbers and crunch those kind of numbers. So you have to be a bit eccentric.
I find it fascinating because before that comment there, you were talking about how when everyone's talking about recessions, they're sort of like willed themselves into a recession because they keep talking about it, keep doing that. But then the amount of people, since you've told me the 24th, the amount of other people that have raised that the date the 24th with me, I find it absolutely amazing. So I wonder if something will happen because so many people are going, the 24th.
A lot of it comes down to the Jewish calendar and when that changes, but also, and that's coming up. I mean, again, we're seeing extraordinary things. I mean, whom would have thought that Roe versus Wade would be overturned under the Democrat government? democratic administration.
Yeah.
You know,
Very good
we're
point.
seeing these sort of things happen. I mean, we've kind of glozed over that in Australia, but that is extraordinary because that was
really
ingrained
is.
back in 1972, the same year Nixon took the US economy off the gold standard, right?
Yep.
All these things have occurred in this 50-year setup. It's extraordinary. And when you start looking at this and lining this up...
I didn't realise it was 50 years ago.
Well, you can have a look at... So
this is why I keep going on about this, Aaron.
Woke things getting overturned like recently by governments you wouldn't expect it. So I can't remember what document, there was a document in Australia where they had the Liberals, who were supposed to be the Conservatives in Australia, put in birthing parents, but it was Bill Shorten, one of the most progressive Labor people out there, who actually got it removed. And I'm thinking, what the hell? Like, how bad must the Liberal Party be as a Conservative if you got Labor removing their wokeness?
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely
I find that
ridiculous.
hilarious.
We are seeing, I mean, and I'm just seeing extraordinary things happen around the world right now. Like, there has been so much human trafficking and sex trafficking going on.
It's disgusting.
It is being blown apart. The mainstream media are not reporting this, but I can show you story after story after story after story coming through of it getting busted. So I'm saying
There's
to
a
you,
video coming out about that.
What I'm saying to you
Yes,
is
there
the
is.
filth of our society that has been ingrained there, overlooked, hushed up on, is coming to the surface. And this is what I love, right? What happens to gold? How do you get pure gold?
You melt it.
You heat it up, right? The heat's on right now. And what happens to the impurities?
They float to the top.
They rise to the surface.
I was
and
wondering,
they have to-
how in the world does he work gold into this? Now I get it.
Now
Nice.
the impurities are wiped away and
Right.
you're left with purity. This is what's happening in society right now. We've had everybody getting worked up about this,
Are we
right?
taking the rubbish out right now?
We are.
Okay,
The
I hope
heat
so.
is on. People are worried. People are concerned. It's got to look worse. It's like a renovation. It looks worse before it looks better, right?
Yep.
This is what's going on in our systems and societies. God's going, this is filthy. I've got to let it get to its worst so that people can actually see how it is.
Yep.
I get the glory. We, humanity, get the benefits. I'm super excited about what's happening right now in the world.
That's amazing.